Welcome back to another depressing episode of Auburn All the Time. I'm here with my co-host, an Auburn man that needs no introduction, Roddy Stevens. Mr. Stevens, talk to me about how you feel after last week.
Well, Bruce, um, it was an epitome of a tale of two halves.
Right.
We came out the first half with, aside from the turnovers, looked like we possibly had a chance. Going into it was 14-6,
Right.
going into halftime, and going into the third quarter, we was gonna get the ball back. We go out there and lay an egg and 3 and out, chance to put more points on the board, even if it wasn't number 3.
Right.
But Penn State takes the ball and completely drives down the field in a couple of plays, and the rest is history.
Oh, yeah.
No offensive line play for about 3/4 of the football game. The defense fell apart as far as the running game. So I don't know, man. I mean, those running backs were great, but that's not Auburn defense.
No.
If you ask me, getting gashed like that, it wasn't like we was playing Najee Harris and some of the guys is in the pros right now. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm past that game, but I know you can give your perspective on what happened. So I'll let you have it.
Well, we know what's been going on with Harsins since last February and March.
That's true.
Everybody knows what's going on. I mean, they try to fire him. I mean, he stood the course. He's still there. But this was his opportunity to show everybody where the program was at.
Yeah.
Had all these recruits in town. Sold out stadium. I mean, home field advantage. Everything you could ask for. Payback from what happened to us last year going to Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
Get them back at our place, which I think this Penn State team is, to me, it's not quite as good as last year's team, to me.
Right.
And, but we obviously took a major step back at quarterback. Offensive line play speaks for itself. But like I said, he had everything in front of him to show where he's at with the program. And this is the results we get. And so my question is, and everybody's question is, it's not when he's going to get fired or if he's going to get fired, it's when he's going to get fired.
Mm-hmm.
And realistically, it's like kind of remind me of Armageddon. You know it's coming. You don't know when,
Right.
but it could actually come. I could actually see a scenario where it could happen this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
If you're at home and you lose to I would think the second, or if not the worst team in the SEC, the second worst team in the SEC at home, where you're a slight 7-point favorite at home.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's out there by Sunday.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, I fully expect them to win this game. It's going to be ugly, but I can see a scenario where he wins this week and next week against LSU. I don't think that's going to be enough to keep his job, but it'll keep him around, that much longer. But we all know what's coming. It ain't hard to figure out. If I'm him, if you look at his demeanor and everything on the sideline, it's obvious where his head's at.
Right.
He's not. I can tell. I'm not a psychologist, but just reading his body language,
Right.
I don't think he wants to be there.
Right.
And I know there's been conversations about him with the Arizona State job. And if I'm his agent, if he can get that job, I would say take it.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't even be no hesitation on me. And you talking about a blessing in disguise for Auburn, that could be the best thing that can happen to Auburn right now, because instead of Auburn owing him money, he would actually owe Auburn $5 million to walk away from Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be a blessing in disguise instead of paying him the $15 million not to coach anymore.
Right.
You can use that on our next coaching staff.
Yeah. Well, I went back and I viewed a previous old show of ours from last season or last year, and we talked about his facial expressions, his body language, about how this man responds to certain things, and it's obvious.
Right.
You can tell when somebody don't want to be somewhere,
Right.
and it's just that clear. I echo everything you've said, especially with the opportunity to show who you could be,
Right.
or where this program could be. With the results that you're putting out, but it just didn't happen.
Right.
You gave the recruits a sour plate. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying, and I'm pretty sure none of these recruits, I don't know, unless they just really really want to be at Auburn. They didn't left a bad taste in their mouth to go out there and perform like that. But who knows what's in the recruit's mind?
Right.
So just moving on from that, the question is, like you said, it's not if, it's when.
Right.
And so if we get down to business with that, if I was an athletic director, or if I had any say so, and I would say, let me call Bruce Howard and see who does he think his top 3 or 4 candidates may be for this next coaching position.
Right.
And we would tell you,
Right.
Bruce, that we're willing to go. We're gonna set all things aside. We're not gonna put our hands in this. Just let us know who we need to write the check to. So I'm giving you that opportunity to name this next head coach. I want your four candidates, the top 4 candidates right now.
Now I'll make
3 or 4 candidates.
Yeah, I'll make it
you
pretty
want.
simple. The next hire to me that they make, which is gonna be soon, I don't even think it's not necessarily so much about the coaching. The number 1 requirement for me when I make this next hire, to me, you have to have you got to be a strong recruiter. The days of us, we're just getting in our, not even the states we recruit in, Georgia, Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana, in our own state of Alabama. I think if you just look at this year alone, Clemson and Penn State has more top 10 players committed in this state than Auburn does. Auburn don't have a single one.
Right.
But even Clemson has 2. Penn State's got 1. You know Alabama's going to get their share. If you look at the top 20 players in the state of Alabama in this recruiting class alone, Auburn might get 2. Might get 2.
10%.
That's not even realistic.
No.
And we're pretty much shut out in Georgia now. If we get anybody, it's somebody that Georgia don't want, Alabama don't want, Clemson don't want,
Right.
Florida State don't want.
Right.
We get strictly leftovers. Now,
Yeah.
so the first thing about it, I mean, S's and O's and all that's fine. Nick Saban wouldn't be where he was at today. Kirby wouldn't be where he's at today if they wouldn't have top 5, top 3, top 1 recruiting
Right.
guys every
Right.
year. That's going to make up a lot of deficiencies. If you have the talent in Auburn, just look at the Penn State game this past week. Just look at that talent discrepancy, and that's Penn State. That's not Alabama. That's not Georgia. That's not Texas A&M. All of them have better players than Penn State. You see what Penn State did to us.
Yeah.
If that tells you all you need to know right there. So the number one thing I'm looking for is a recruiter. Then everything else falls in place. So my top 4 choices is not even debate. The first 2 are non-negotiable. But even if they tell you no, as an Auburn fan, if I work for Auburn and I don't at least make these 2 phone calls,
Right.
I'm not doing the fan base any justice. Deion Sanders, Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
You at least reach out to their representatives just to gauge interest. And the worst thing they can do is tell you no.
Right.
That way you can at least hold your head up high and say, I went after the best. And don't kid yourself. On paper, Urban Meyer is the best candidate. It's not even close. He has the best resume, national titles under his belt, Heisman winner under his belt, can beat Alabama. It's not in debate, and he can recruit.
That's right.
And no matter what you look at him, no matter if he stays there 4 or 5 years, the talent level that'll be there to take over after he leaves, you'll be in way better shape.
Right.
Deion, it speaks for itself. He can go to any recruit's home in the nation and sell his vision. And people look at him, look at the way he carries himself and all that. They see the flair, the swag, whatever you want to call it. All that's good and fine. But he can get the players.
Right.
And I think the players will play for him. The stuff that happened this week, you seen what happens when the players don't have a feel, because your team's going to take on the identity of the coach. And you seen this weekend what happens. He don't have no emotion, the team don't have no emotion.
Right.
You don't have no enthusiasm, they don't have no enthusiasm. And you won't have that with him at all. So, and my other 2, I mean, I would think neither one of them would tell Auburn no. It just depends on the scenario. Lane Kiffin and Hugh Freeze, they're similar to me. I think Lane is probably a little better play caller than you, but they're similar. They're so similar. Lane is a little younger than you, obviously, and Kiffin, he has maturity issues in the past. I think he's kind of, grew up some.
Yeah.
And we all know about Freeze's, history and, his transgressions. But he's been away long enough, and I think I think he's ready.
Mm-hmm.
He's ready to get back into the SEC. He's ready to get back into the Power 5. And I feel like this. I'm not I don't know him, but I feel like this. If Auburn offers him a job, it won't even be a hesitation. He'll walk to Auburn for the job.
Right.
What's your take?
Well, I completely agree with you with the top 4 candidates. Mine are is exactly the same, and I agree. I'm just gonna touch on each coach as far as why I would think that they would be a good fit. And like you said, there is no reason for you to not call Urban Meyer or Prime, which Prime would be my top choice from a historical standpoint.
Oh yeah.
We know what that means. So from a historical standpoint, I would be elated to have Dion come in and take over that program. Also, the fact that he can recruit, and he has proven that clearly, and he would definitely have way more resources than what he has now.
Let's just call it like we see it. There's guys at Jackson State right now that can play for Auburn.
Yes, exactly. And now there's no bash on HBCU schools. I'm representing Howard University, and so we're pro HBCU. I've attended HBCU, so and proudly graduated from HBCU. But we know that Prime is going to be moving to the next level. If not this year, it'll be next year. The thing with Urban Meyer, like you said, he does have his baggage, and the only thing I question. And it would be from a standpoint of not necessarily talent-wise, like you said. I would just question the state of the program, if he decided to leave. And just piggybacking off of what you said, hopefully he will have a successor there on staff to take over and keep the wheels turning. With Lane Kiffin and Hugh Freeze, like you said, they're similar guys. I don't think they would turn the job down. I actually think Lane Kiffin was salivate at the job as far as, having the opportunity to face Nick Saban, and on a consistent basis, which they face him every year, but on that type of level, he would love to do that. And Hugh Freeze, which I think you mentioned, we was talking, and you said his daughter attends there, so like you said, he would walk to.
I can honestly feel like I can say this with some, not knowing, but I feel confident saying that he wants the job.
Yeah. And so, we've touched on that. The question is, though, it still looms. What is Auburn willing to do? Is Auburn willing to man up, like we've talked about? Is Auburn willing to man up, or are they gonna keep their hands off of this? Is the politics gonna still play a role?
Auburn is considered a top 12 or 15 job in the country historically. They got 2 national titles, 3 Heisman winners. Got several Heisman winners, All-Americans, you name it. 2 of the most. Got one of the most iconic football players, 2 of the most iconic football players of all time, Cam Newton, Bo Jackson. Speaks for itself. But anyway, with that being said, if you feel like you're one of them programs, it's time for you to act like you're one of them programs. Right. The days of you just selling for just assistant coaches or just, I would say this. If you hire at Urban Meyer, or even Deion Sanders, but Urban Meyer, that would be the most accomplished coach that Auburn's ever hired before, ever. And hiring Deion, be the first African American football coach in this state, period. That would be historical. And that would be like, but people will say, oh, he don't have that Power 5 experience. You know what? I'll say this. Somebody's going to give him a chance, like you said. And you got Georgia Tech open already. You got, not Georgia Tech, but you got Arizona State open already. Georgia Tech's going to be open. That's what I meant to say. There's jobs coming open this year. Nebraska's open.
Yeah, Nebraska's open.
But all them jobs, Auburn's better than all of them.
Right.
And who's to say that, let's just say if I'm Georgia Tech, I'm already on the phone talking to his representative, because could you imagine him in that Atlanta area? That's a hotbed for recruiting. And I tell you right now, if I'm Kirby Smart, they worship Kirby Smart in Georgia. You don't want that. You got that. Because the only thing about Georgia Tech, I will say, why I wouldn't take the Georgia Tech job, I think it's a good job, but it's not Auburn. The academic requirements are so hard to get in there. There are certain players, not a knock on the players, it's reality. they can't get in there.
Yeah.
It's harder to get in there.
Yeah.
At Auburn, you got an open playing field.
Yeah, it's just like your Vanderbilts and Dukes.
Yeah,
and
I mean, it's
stuff
just
like
you
that.
got. I mean, there's certain.
Yeah.
I mean, you're limited.
Yeah.
But that's why the Georgia Tech job is so hard. But even that, I still think, as hard as that job is at Georgia Tech, he would do good there because he would get the players.
Yeah.
I mean, he won't get as many if he was at Auburn. But I'll say this: I don't even know if Auburn's going to make that phone call. I don't know if they're man enough. I don't know if their egos will let them do it. That's the thing about it. All that stuff, the egos, pride, want to have power, control. You set all that to the side. If you're serious about football, this next hire is going to tell you how serious they are about football.
That's true.
Because there's too good of a candidates available that's difference maker, that's program changers, for you to settle for a Kevin Steele. I don't even want to think about the options. You know, the thing
about it is we ain't gonna even know who the options is.
No,
if it come down to it.
To me, it's like this. If they're not even right now, he's not even fired yet. But if you're not, these conversations are not even going on behind the scenes, somebody's not doing their job.
You're right.
Those conversations need to be happening, which I feel like they are.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, Armageddon's coming. I mean, it could come this Sunday. You know what I'm saying? It's coming. I mean, it's no way around it. You don't get to this point where you're at now and go back.
Right.
You know, some things is just not worth saving for. Just think about this. Recruiting is where we're struggling at. Obviously, we're 59th in the nation in recruiting. If I'm not mistaken, there's 14 teams in the SEC. We're the 13 or 14. Okay, that speaks for itself. That speaks for itself. But think about this. This caught my attention today. I thought about this. We're 13 or 14 right now. Right now is the key word.
Right.
Where would you think we'll be at right now if Oklahoma and Texas, which is on the way, if they was in the league, we'll be 15 or 16.
15 or 16.
That's a fireable offense within itself. Even being, we all know how we got to this point. You say whatever, the scandal, trying to fire them, all that's fine. They still not doing a good enough job. It's not even realistic. He really, truthfully, he shouldn't even be coaching right now. With everything that went on last year, with everything that went on, that relationship was already, the bridges was already, it was already gone then. It was over with then.
Yeah.
But I think everybody's just willing to ride it out to see what it looked like this year. Because you would think, with everything going on, this man's going to be coaching for his life.
Right.
That ain't the case, though.
Right.
That tells you all you need to know right there. So, like I said, this next hire is going to tell you just how serious Auburn is about football. You'll know. I mean, it ain't going to be hard to figure out.
That's true. I agree. So we'll move right along off of that the Harsins situation. We got week 4 coming up.
Unfortunately.
We got the Missouri Tigers coming into Jordan-Hare with Auburn favored 6 points or so, somewhere around there. Neither one of us are gambling men on that type of stuff. But we got this Missouri Tigers coming in, which got pounded by Kansas State, but we see where we at, and we'll probably have Ashford the whole entire game,
right,
unless something happens to him. And if our offensive line decide to show up, I'm usually not too hard on offensive linemen, but y'all gonna have to do better than what y'all did this past week.
Right.
I mean, it looked like Penn State had All-Americans all over the field when it came to the front seven.
Right.
So you can give us a short synopsis or whatever you want to give us
on
what this game might entail. I do know. I'll go ahead and just give my take. I do know that it's a must-win game.
Every game.
It's sad to say
it is.
that we dealing with a Missouri Tigers, and we saying this is a must-win. It's sad that we even thinking that we got to have a must-win situation, but that's just what it is. You speak of Sunday. If he lose this game,
he won't. He might not even make it to Sunday. It might go down Saturday night.
They may get him.
Because think about it,
walking into the locker room.
Yeah, this is 11 o'clock kickoff. If he loses to Missouri, I give him the 5 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll know something about it evening. Yeah, you're right. But I'm gonna let you have the flow on this.
I don't even know what to say. Auburn should win. I don't even think it's a debate on that. From top to bottom, this is probably one of the few teams we are more talented than.
Yeah.
We are. They got a freshman, Luther Burden, that was a 5-star. He's a 5'11" receiver. That he's solid.
Yeah.
But I don't think they can let that one guy beat him. Which he'll make some plays. But they don't stop the run and they don't run the ball. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
They went on the road, and Kansas State didn't even have to complete a pass. They just ran it down their throats. And they stacked the box, still couldn't stop them. And that same Kansas State team, they lost to Tulane, if I'm not mistaken. They lost to somebody they shouldn't. I don't know. I mean, my football now, Auburn has fell apart. I don't even know. My focus on football is just when your team is struggling like this, it's hard to focus on.
It is.
It is. I mean, it's hard to keep focus.
Is.
But that being said, I think the point spread is actually, it started off at 10. I think it's right at 7 now, 6.5, 7. It don't matter. I don't think Auburn covers. I don't. I think they should. But my feel is 20-17. With that being said, the game probably should be something like 35-14. That's what it should be.
I got you.
But I'm going 20-17 just due to the fact that I think just if we just line up, don't turn the ball over, even if we probably won't complete about 4 or 5 passes the whole game. That's probably enough.
Yeah.
That's probably enough. So I'm gonna go with 20-17.
Well, my point, my score is a little different, just because I feel like Auburn is at an embarrassed state right now, and maybe this will do something to them to get their act together.
Right.
As far as player wise, I mean that's all you can do. Player wise, the players can only do what they can do, and then coaching, they just got to put them in the right situation. So I'm slightly different. I'm taking the points with Auburn scoring 27 and Missouri scoring 17. We right there the same with
That's fair.
With their scoring, but I feel like the defense will pick up a little bit better this week, and maybe with the read option situation with Robert Ashford and Tank and Hunter in the backfield, and even the freshman. Maybe this will spark some stuff and even some reverse stuff. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? I mean, so maybe we'll see some big plays like that, and maybe Auburn will put up the points. I'm still worried about the red zone situation. That's why I say 27, because I believe we will be kicking 2 field goals. So yeah, that's what I got right now, 27-17. Anything on your radar for outside of Auburn football this week?
And I'm like, man, it's my Cincinnati Bengals. They're struggling.
I got you.
So my football right now is just like I'm pretty much miserable. I'm trying to stay focused, but I would keep an eye on 2 games that I would probably keep an eye on: Florida, Tennessee, and Texas A&M and Arkansas.
I got you.
Them, I would just watch them. I like Tennessee. I would say I like Tennessee. I really do. I think they're for real. I would say I would take them not even knowing the point spread. I like Tennessee. I would say Tennessee 38, Florida 27, Texas A&M, Arkansas. I'm not sold on A&M at all. I like Arkansas. They do have a terrible pass defense, but they can. The 2 things Arkansas can do: they can run the ball, they can stop the run.
Yeah.
And I think Arkansas is going to wear them down. I'll say Arkansas 31, A&M 23.
Okay. Well, that game is in College Station, then.
Might be Dallas.
Well, yeah, it's a neutral. Yeah,
might be Dallas.
You're right. Well, I agree with you on the Tennessee thing. It just with me, it just depends on which Anthony Richardson shows up. So I mean, I still believe that Tennessee will pull this game out, whichever AR shows up.
Right.
Whether it's the the AR we saw against Utah, or the AR last week and weeks past or whatever.
Yeah.
But excuse me, I believe that Tennessee is as advertised. I kind of want to see, like I told you once before, I feel like the true test for Tennessee will be in a couple of weeks when the Tide rolls into Knoxville, and we'll see where they are. But they do have a very, very high power offense. I do believe they'll score more than 35 points. 35 points or better.
Yeah.
And then the question is can Florida actually hang with them, which I don't think they can. Texas A&M and Arkansas. I like Arkansas. I mean, just because simple fact, I like Jefferson and Sam Pittman. I like both of them. And I want to see them. I actually kind of got a thing for Arkansas right now. Kind of want to see them succeed.
Yeah.
And it just makes things better for the West. You know what I'm saying? So I like Arkansas in this game, but I think it's gonna be closer than very, very close. Because Texas A&M could be picking it up, and maybe they found something, but
Yeah.
their defense is keeping them in the game. So we'll see how they handle Jefferson. But man, that's all I got.
Let me put this in
Yeah,
there.
go ahead.
It just came to my attention. I mean, speaking of which, a lot of times when you hire a coach, I mean, it's good to have a strong recruiter. I believe in that. I believe recruiting is a lifeline. You got recruiting in NIL. That's the lifeline of college football right now, no matter how you look at it. But also, this is key too. It has to be a good fit.
It does.
You look at Sam Pittman at Arkansas. Nobody ever would have seen that coming.
No.
But he fits that.
Fits though.
Look at Josh Heupel at Tennessee. He wasn't even their top choice, but it fits. Yeah. And now you see the results.
And you see the programs.
Yeah.
The programs are 180s.
And to say this about Harsin, I don't necessarily think he's a bad coach. He just don't fit. He don't fit at Auburn. With everything that goes along with that job, with the politics, with the SEC, you got to think about this. The Auburn job is right now, to me, it's the hardest job in the country.
It is.
Because of the division it is in and who the two main rivals are. That no matter how you look at it, you recruit against them and you play against them every year.
Yeah.
I would compare Auburn as being in the AFC North in the NFL, where you got Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Cleveland. You see what I'm saying?
Just dogs every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
And to me, if you're not recruiting, I learned this from Trooper Taylor years ago when he was at Auburn. He was a good recruiter. He said recruiting, if you got to do it every single day, because it's just like shaving. If you don't do it, people notice.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Hey man, that's a good analogy, man.
You got to do it every day.
Yeah.
I mean, any signs of weakness, any things of you letting off,
yeah,
they just run right past you.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, it's been a good show because just due to the fact that it's not necessarily people don't want to talk about Auburn football. If you talk to people, everything they want to tell you is Dion gonna be our next coach. Is so and so gonna be? They're already talking about the future.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't know. If we win, I guess we'll be back next week. But if not, hey, we'll see y'all again when we make this coaching change. Man, like always, man, I just thank everybody for actually watching this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you can, like, share. Any Auburn fans, just share it, share it with them. Even Alabama fans, they want something to laugh at. I don't care. And comment on us, man. Just tell us if if whatever we need to improve on, I'm open for it, man, because I'm open for anything right now.
Yeah.
Anything's better than what we're going through right now.
Exactly.
We just think about this. In tough times, it brings out the character in people. You know what I'm saying? So I would just stay the course, and no matter how hard it gets, better days are coming.
That's true, man.
Just stay the course.
And man, look, we'll be back.
Eventually.
I hope. I gotta talk my boy down, but hey,
man.
it's Auburn football.
Hey.
But we don't talk Auburn football all the time. I mean, because this is an Auburn show. So,
42 days to tip off.
Yeah,
Keep that in mind.
42 days
42
before
days.
tip off, man. So maybe that'll be a bright spot in Auburn athletics or whatever. But until then, man, I'm Rod Stevens, and I'm signing off with War Eagle.
War Eagle.